Hey VC, what's up? It's me, yours truly, back again, posting another video today. I told you my one yesterday. I was going to try to catch up on a bunch of these threads today, so I'm back to do a response to Mikko, the Vinyl Corner, his Vinyl Community Challenge, also called this Desert Island Disc Challenge, and kind of one of the classic questions, that we think about a lot, which is, off on a desert island, what are the 10 albums? If you can only take 10 with you, what would they be? So I went through and kind of picked out a few. Let me show you what's playing in the background. I don't have it too loud, so you probably can't even hear it, and it's on that stereo over here. So, but the Dictators, Go Girl Crazy, really kind of neat. I know last time I was at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they had that jacket there, which was kind of cool. But anyway, again, it's kind of low, so you probably can't hear it. But let's jump right into it. This was a tough one, too, because, I don't know, I guess when I started thinking about only 10 albums, the first thought that came to my mind wasn't necessarily what are my favorite 10 albums, but it was more so, if you're going to be stuck on a desert island and only have 10 albums, like, how do you get a mixture so that you have like good coverage, if you will, of all of your different musical taste and everything? So each album had to kind of play off of the other album. So that was a big part of me choosing the albums I came up with. So that way I wasn't like going right into my metal section and picking like 4 Metallica albums or whatever, or whatever your favorite band is, because sure, you love them, but listening to the same 4 or 5 albums by the same group over and over and over for the rest of your life, that would get old pretty quick. So let me start with the 3 that didn't make the mix. I ended up pulling out 13 total. So these are the 3 that just didn't quite make it into the top 10, but were there for serious consideration. 1 was Steve Perry, Street Talk. And again, I came across him when I was pulling stuff out, kind of thinking, Journey, Perry, how do you get something worked in there? I even kind of had Boston in the back of my mind, so all that kind of came to Steve Perry's Street Talk might be the best representation of all of that. Like I said, he didn't quite make the mix. Bruce Springsteen, Tunnel of Love, again, strong consideration, but didn't quite make the mix. And last but not least, I thought this one might be cheating actually, so I kind of took it out, but the Teen Wolf soundtrack. And so I kind of figured that, well, that kind of falls in the compilation, so it doesn't really count. So those were the 3 that didn't quite make the mix. Now let me show you the 10 that did, in no particular order. I started off here with Godsmack, and this is Awake. Again, Godsmack is one of my favorite bands. A lot of their stuff is very, I don't know, I hate saying this because, I guess there's a difference in being technical musicians and making good music that makes you feel. And I think that's the one thing I get from Godsmack as a new metal band, is I feel them more so than necessarily I hear them, so to speak. So that's the kind of thing to me that doesn't get old and will last for a long time. So this is one I wouldn't mind having on the desert island. And yeah, that's my signed copy, signed by Sully. Next on the list, Rick Braun, Full Stride. I would have to have some smooth jazz there as well, and this is kind of the album that I picked to represent that entire genre. Moving along, and again, a lot of this stuff, I'm thinking longevity, not necessarily the best album, but the album I could probably listen to for years and years and years and it not die on me. Billy Idol's Rebel Yell. This has a great mixture of, Billy Idol's kind of GX, that kind of stage of his career when he was kind of punk, as well as just kind of the whole 80s thing, as well as the hard rock thing. So again, you can get a great mixture of things on this particular album when you go between stuff like Rebel Yell, which is kind of up-paced rocking type stuff, and then Catch My Fall and Crank Call, which are a little more, I don't know, I would almost say like melodic-y, new wave-ish types, I don't know. But again, the fact that you can describe all those songs in so many different ways, that's what would make that the third album on my list. Fourth album on my list would be Motley Crue's Dr. Feelgood. And again, not because it's necessarily my favorite Motley Crue album to listen to. I would probably say I spend, like probably the song I listen to the most by Motley Crue is Live Wire. You know, and a few other things too. But anyway, this particular album, again, it's just the mixture of songs here. Everything from Dr. Feelgood to Rattlesnake Shake, which kind of has a southern rock kind of thing going on inside of it, to Kickstart My Heart, which is really kind of, you know, very adrenaline driven type of song. You know, Without You, the old, you know, you have at least one sappy ballad to take with you. Don't Go Away Mad, just kind of more of a, you know, classic rocky type of song. So again, you're pulling a great mixture of things by having this on the island with you. Next, we have to go to Bo Diddley. And again, I'm sitting there thinking, you know, you have to have some of the classics in there, you know. So somehow we got to work some Chuck Berry in here, or, you know, something on those lines. And I thought the best representation of that would be Bo Diddley. Again, a very unique sound. You can listen to a lot of his songs and kind of hear and pick up something different in them each time you listen to them. So again, that would be a great one to kind of stimulate you for the long haul. A lot of people have picked this one. I'm sure will pick this one, or at least one album by this band. I saw a couple people I think chose The Wall, which is a fabulous choice. I decided to go with Dark Side of the Moon. So that would be my choice for Pink Floyd. And of course, I don't have to explain why. Next, this kind of went to, well, I kind of went to my country section and started thinking, you know, I'd have to have some type of country in there. And what would I want? But again, only having 10 choices, I went with Neil Young, Comes a Time. And again, this is not necessarily a pure country album, but it's definitely Neil kind of walking those lines, and just great songs, stuff you can listen to over and over. And this again would be one of those longevity pieces that you can listen to time and time again, especially side one. I mean, side one of this album is just phenomenal. Matter of fact, I'm going to leave this out so I can spin it after I get done with this video. Next, got to go with Lionel Richie. This kind of bringing in some more of my 80s love, as well as some type of R&B element, because I was running out of spots. So Lionel would kind of satisfy most of that. And of course, this is his smash, Can't Slow Down. All Night Long, Penny Lover, Stuck on You, Running with the Night. Because I also made a consideration, and again, I'm just kind of spilling out what was in my mind as I was looking, was that, you know, I probably wouldn't want to get a lot of stuff that's very dark. You know, if you're already in that situation, you probably want things that could kind of uplift your spirits, make you want to dance, make you want to, you know, kind of forget what's going on, where you are. So that was another thing that actually came to mind when I was thinking about, you know, some of the things that I picked is, I wouldn't want like a lot of Slayer, or I mean, like, you know, Rain and Blood is not what I want to listen to if I'm straight on an island all by myself, as much as I love the album. But so again, that kind of comes into play with stuff like All Night Long and Running with the Night and all of that stuff with Lionel. They'll keep you in good spirits at least for a few years. Somebody else picked this one too. I can't remember. I think maybe it was Karsten, maybe. But Metallica, the Black Album. Again, this goes to satisfying some of my metal needs that I would have, but also staying in a kind of upbeat, more positive mode, if you will, type of songs. And I say that because, you know, instead of picking something like Kill 'Em All or even Master of Puppets that you guys know I love so much, again, I wouldn't want to bring that much darkness into my life on a regular basis on a desert island. And for the same reason they caught so much flack with this album, which is it had such a a popish crossover within the metal that they were doing here. I always think about that story, and again, I've told this in probably videos before, but I love saying it, and a lot of you maybe didn't see it, where they were doing some documentary about the album, and they were, guy was talking about why people got so pissed off at Metallica and everything else, and he was talking about how Metallica was, the group that so many kids held so dear. It was like, their group, their thing, that thrash metal that nobody else gets. And he goes, the Black Album comes out, and next thing you know, those same guys have their 10-year-old sister come into their room going, can I borrow your Metallica album? And he kind of jokingly said that, but it was a very good point to describe why this album caused so much flack for Metallica. But that's also exactly why I would pick it for one of my Desert Island albums. And then the last two here, this was a tough one. You guys know my favorite album by John Coltrane is Love Supreme. I mean, that's my favorite jazz album of all time. But why I didn't pick that one and I chose Ascension instead is I figured if you're going to pull a jazz album, you better pull something that floats on the free jazz side of things. That way, it's nothing that you ever get down. I mean, you can listen to most free jazz albums over and over and over and really discover something new in it each time you hear it, just because it's so much chaos going on that you can find so many elements of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It'll come to me in a minute. But anyway, so that's why I picked Ascension instead of Love Supreme, John Coltrane. And last but not least, the 10th album. We've been talking about this one lately, as I have. It's been in a couple of videos. Purple Rain by Prince. Again, kind of goes without saying, but I go back to just a great mixture of different types of music. Everything from Let's Go Crazy to When Doves Cry to The Beautiful Ones, Take Me With You. Just a lot of stuff that would keep you interested over the long haul. So anyway, there you go, Mikko. That's my Desert Island 10. Ask me tomorrow. I'm sure it would be a number of different albums, but that's what it is as of today. So as always, thanks for watching, VC, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.